The brave bystander spoke to 9 News about his split-second decision to take down the accused attacker, who is tonight behind bars.
Charged at the checkout. 42-year-old Kevin Price pulling a move even the Broncos would be proud of.
Massive supporter of the Bronx, I love to watch, but no, I've never played, just love watching them. So I guess I had to get him off tilter and off balance, so I just kind of did that.
The father of two was doing his weekly shop at Banyo Woolworths when he heard someone in trouble yesterday morning.
I just heard a commotion, a couple ladies screaming. There were two guys in the self-service area just trading blows, basically, with each other.
CCTV capturing the moment the first punches were thrown, but it wasn't long until the accused attacker was on the ground. Other nearby shoppers helping to pin him down.
Get on him and stay on one.
Holding him on the floor until police arrived, taking 25-year-old Jude Fincher into custody.
We're going to stand you up and walk you to the car, OK? You're under arrest for assault.
It's alleged a number of people were assaulted, including a man in his 70s and a woman in her late teens. They were both taken to the Royal Brisbane and Women's Hospital in a stable condition.
Van Viet Trung is a sunshine trader who ran to the aid of a fellow shopkeeper here on Hampshire Road on Saturday when she was being allegedly attacked by a gang of youths. That is when he suffered catastrophic injuries and, as you've just said, has now died in hospital. Premier Ben Carroll was here in a visit unannounced today, briefly making comments and laying flowers alongside the Brimback Mayor.
A community hero, a local grocer for 30 years in Sunshine, through senseless act of violence.
A group of teenagers has already faced court over this attack earlier this week, including a 12-year-old facing charges like intentionally causing serious injury and affray.
Wearing a black mask and brandishing a firearm, he escaped on an e-scooter, but not before the shopkeeper put up a fight. Eliza Rugg has this exclusive report.
4:30 this afternoon on Ryrie Street in Geelong, jeweller Mark McGill takes on a thief. The offender was wearing a black hood and a mask and carrying what appeared to be a gun.
It was supposedly like an M14, but it could have just been like a replica as well. But at the same time, you've just got to take it as if it is a loaded firearm.
Max works across the road, currently in training at the police academy. He ran over to help Mark.
I've heard the duress alarm. I've come over just screaming out, drop it, drop it. Whilst the owner of the jeweller store is kind of fighting him.
After wrestling with Mark, the male suspect escaped on an electric scooter, speeding past children walking on the footpath. He left empty-handed and was last seen turning onto James Street. Police were on the scene within minutes as a potentially armed suspect remains on the run. Well, Pete, I've actually just had a chat to Mark, the store owner. Physically, he's okay. He just has a couple of bruises on his hands. It was actually his wife, Sandra, who was manning the store downstairs when the offender came in. He demanded cash. Sandra said no. She pressed the duress alarm. That is when the offender has grabbed a jewellery cabinet and ran out the door. Mark's chased out after him. The offender has then threatened to kill Mark before making off, thankfully with nothing. Now, Mark and Sandra have owned this jewellery store here on Ryrie Street for 50 years. They say they are just grateful each other is okay.
The father has tackled a would-be thief to the ground in a dramatic citizen's arrest at a jewellery store. The alleged offender smashed open cabinets with a hammer in front of terrified staff and shoppers.
A brazen daylight robbery attempt stopped by citizen's arrest as good as gold.
No, not a hero. Just everyday bloke doing something that needed to be done.
After hearing what sounded like gunshots and screams for help, 31-year-old Anthony Haby jumped into action.
People needed help, so we helped. Something I think any normal person would do, really.
We just heard screams, terrifying screams, and didn't even think about it, just went in.
While the brave father held down the would-be thief, his partner Jane helped terrified staff. Minutes later, security and police arrived and cuffed the man aged in his 20s.
He's an Aussie hero.
While staff have been too scared to return to work at the Bendigo Jewellers, they're so grateful for Anthony's help, they've nominated the builder for a bravery award.
He thought it was gunshots, he didn't even know it was a hammer, he thought it was a gun, and he still came in and tackled him to the ground.
The alleged offender has faced the Bendigo Magistrates Court. He didn't apply for bail and has been remanded in custody until August.
Glad we could help. Glad no one got hurt. That was the main concern.
Julia Passarelli, 9 News.
Hailed a hero, taking down a would-be robber at a Gold Coast service station. The tradesman didn't hesitate, tackling the man who claimed to have a gun, performing an early morning citizen's arrest.
It's just after 5 a.m. at this Bigara Waters service station when a young man walks straight to the counter, telling everyone to put their hands up, demanding cash from the till. The tradie near the counter doesn't hesitate, crash tackling the young wannabe robber, knocking him to the ground as another jumps in to help, holding the man down in a citizen's arrest until police arrive.
And, a young guy comes running in, telling everyone to put their hands up, and he just stood there with something up his shirt, and I was looking like, well, that's not a gun, so, get your banana out of here.
The hero tradie, Murray, jumped into action before Sasha had time to sound the distress alarm. Murray is a regular who buys his lunch at the servo every morning. When police arrived minutes later, they swiftly handcuffed the 24-year-old Rabina man.
So you're aware at this stage you're under arrest?
Charging him with 1 count of attempted armed robbery. As for Murray, the hero tradie, grateful staff at the servo say lunch is now on the house.
Murray might have hurt his hip or something when he took him down, so hopefully I think we're giving him free lunches for a while, so that might help his hip recovery.
Tradie hailed a hero after he stepped in to stop an armed robbery in progress at Sunnybank.
This is the start of a robbery.
Hello. Hello.
The shop attendant just doesn't know it yet. That is until their casual conversations take a sinister turn. At least one of these teenagers appears to be armed. The woman tries pleading with them.
Please, guys, no. No, don't do it. It's okay. Oh, guys, no.
And that's when a passing tradie steps in, pulling the shop attendant to safety before attempting to lock the thieves inside. A struggle follows. A battle 3 against 2. They eventually force their way out. One raises a weapon, stumbling before running off. Within 24 hours, one of the teenagers was in police custody. That 19-year-old was charged with armed robbery, willful damage and assault. He faced court earlier this week and was granted bail. The worker has now left her job, traumatised and terrified by the ordeal.
A 15-year-old girl is among a group of Aussie heroes who've stopped an armed robbery in Sydney's west this afternoon. Police say 2 men threatened an employee with a gun before trying to steal cigarettes. But the getaway did not go to plan, witnesses pinning the men down until police arrived.
Taken down by a tenacious group of locals in Glenmore Park, these 2 men have just stormed a tobacco store armed with a gun.
Yes, come on.
In a dramatic citizen's arrest, shoppers spring into action, pinning down the tearaway thieves as they try to make their escape.
On the floor, and they were holding them down by the legs, arms, and then some people, crew members from the Woolworths team, they came out and also decided to help.
Woolworths staff member Nicola Cassis saw it all, watching on as her 15-year-old friend held the men down with her knee. The chaos unfolded just after 2 o'clock this afternoon when the armed men entered this tobacco store, immediately brandishing their gun and threatening a female staff member inside. 7 News understands a 56-year-old woman walking by was first on scene. Instead of backing away, police say she ran to the pair's getaway vehicle, which was parked just outside the store, and removed the keys from the ignition before being assaulted by the thieves.
Obviously, there was like 2 really distressed, elderly couple.
The aftermath, a massive mess. Packets of cigarettes and stolen goods left strewn across the footpath at Glenmore Park Town Centre. The men, aged 27 and 30, are tonight in hospital under police guard. The 56-year-old woman was treated for minor injuries. Tonight, being praised by her neighbours.
Gleaners went into his local 7-Eleven store for his daily coffee. He walked straight into an unfolding armed robbery.
Now they're standing here with a gun. Down, everybody down, you down.
A woman in a motorbike helmet was allegedly waving a gun and demanding money. Nick says he made a split-second decision.
Land! Aha! Go for glory,
like a try.
With the accused pressed against the counter, 7-Eleven franchisee Ricky Yan called police.
When I saw the gun, I was just a bit scared, very scared.
He'd been about to hand over hundreds of dollars before Nick's unexpected tackle.
Now I'm trying to get him over there because I'm wondering that they might shoot.
Nick says he grabbed the gun, which turned out to be a fake, and threw it to the floor before a second manoeuvre.
I did my MMA around the head. Tackle. And that's it, hang on.
His iron-tight grip only interrupted by police 5 minutes later, who arrested the woman. Store owners Ricky and Audrey thankful for their loyal customer.
Ricky and Nick have been friends for 6 years, and Ricky says he's grateful for Nick's dramatic intervention after a spate of armed robberies and thefts from the store.
This afternoon, Emily Beck faced court on 8 charges, while Nick Ziglinas returned to get his coffee.
T, as his friends call him, was the last person these bumbling burglars would want to come across, and he joins us now. T, so great to have you on the show.
Thank you, how are you?
Hey!
Better for seeing you, bro.
Oh, look fantastic.
Hey.
Just take us through how this all unfolded, T.
To be honest, it was just like a normal day. Just driving here to the coast to drop off their magazines. And then I seen like the lady in the medical centre. She was waving up. So I was like, hello. And then I didn't know what she was waving at, to be honest. Yeah. But then I jumped out the truck, and then she was like, there's 2 guys next door in the pharmacy robbing it. And I was like right now? And then she's like, yeah, right now. And so I was like, oh, I'll wait there then, and I'll go over and check it out. So I just walked over, stood in front of the door, and then I looked down and I seen them, and I was like, mate, what are you up to?
Yeah.
And then they just looked at me, turned around, looked at me, and then they started walking towards me. At that time, I didn't know whether they had knives or anything, so I sort of was just being cautious about it, to be honest. And then the closer they got,
yeah,
I sort of took a step back, and then that's when the first fella just ran straight past me. I was like, but you got away. And then the second fella just looked at me. I was like, you're not going anywhere.
What did you do?
So I just tackled that fella down. Oh, well, that's when I grabbed the guy and I tackled him on the ground and just held him there. And then I was just literally, he was struggling at first, and I just said to him, I was like, mate, you're wasting your breath. You're just going to make yourself tired. And then after a little while, he sort of just gave up, and then I was like, I have a son, he's 15 years old, so my fatherly instinct kicked in, and I just started giving him life advice, I guess.
Tackle him down. Did you not, in all seriousness, have any worries about being hurt at all? Because, you know, he could have had anything.
Nah, to be honest, that wasn't even in my mind, to be honest. The lady asked for help, and I was just like, yeah, I got your back. Jump in there and just help out, pretty much.
Oh, legend.
Mr. T, I want to know what advice you gave him. Because I think it took about 10 minutes for the cops to get there.
Yeah, well, it was pretty much just like, I was like, because at first I asked him how old he was, and he told me 15, so I was like, mate, I got a 15-year-old son, why are you hanging out with those drop kicks? Yeah, they're no good for you. Like, you got your whole life ahead of you, but you're 15 years old. Come on, mate. And then he sort of offered me a bribe. He's like, bro, I'll give you $200 if you let me go. And I'm like, cuz. I pointed at my work truck. I was like, bro, I got a job. I don't need your money.
Oh, man, you are
and then, and then I'm just like, I was telling him, because he's like, just let me go. I don't want to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. And then I just sort of told him, I said, oh, I'm sorry, bro, but this is what happens when you're a naughty boy, eh? Now you deal with the consequences, cuz.
Yeah. Mate, I am transfixed by you. You are a proper legend. The New Zealand Prime Minister is also in Australia right now, and you're the kind of Kiwi that needs to be celebrated in a very, very large way. Do you want to come over my place for our hungy?
But I'll cook it for you, cuz. You've done properly.
You're a legend, my man. Mr. T, great to talk to you. Thank you so much for being with us.
No, thank you guys. Cheers.
Oh, kia ora, bro. That is a wonderful story. What a legend.